This is the last leg of a woman's night run before she died. And this is the last image of another woman before she died. 8 months apart, 18 kilometers apart, two seemingly unrelated women vanished in the same way. What kind of connection is there between them? The name of the missing woman is Peng Fang. She divorced years ago and then lived with her daughter. After graduating from university, her daughter found a job in Chengdu City, while Peng stayed in Qingshan Town. On the morning of May 14, 2018, Peng's daughter suddenly received a call from an acquaintance from her hometown in Qingshan Town. Peng owned a milk wholesale store in Qingshan Town. It was already 10 o'clock that morning, and her store had not opened yet, and her phone was also unable to reach. Her daughter was worried that her mother would pass out at home, so she called her grandmother and asked her to check on her mother Peng. Peng Fang was not at home, so probably in the store. So Peng's mother immediately rushed to her store. At her store, she found that the outfit that Peng had been wearing the day before was there, but the sportswear and sneaker were missing. According to Peng's lifestyle habits, she believed that Peng may have gone to the gym. Peng's mother searched around, and there was still no news from Peng. After discussing with her granddaughter, they decided to report to the police. Then, the police conducted an investigation into the trajectory of Peng before her disappearance. Peng's store was located next to a school. Peng had a habit of temporarily closing the store around 9 p.m. every night to go for a run. At 10 p.m. after school, she would come back and open it again to do some business. But according to the owner of the neighboring store, on the evening of May 13th, Peng went for a run and did not return to the store. Based on this, the police determined that Peng may have had an accident at night running. The police retrieved surveillance near the her store and discovered her presence. On May 13th, 2018 at 20:59, Peng went out. She was wearing a black short t-shirt on top, brown shorts on the bottom, and a pair of sneakers on her feet. The police retrieved surveillance along the way and found that at 21:10, Peng ran to a crossroads. At 21:11, she passed by the school gate. Peng appeared again in surveillance 11 minutes later, at 21:22, when Peng ran to a crossroads. At this crossroads, Peng began to turn around and run back, at 21:23 on May 13th. Normally, after about 10 minutes, Peng should appear in the next surveillance. The police repeatedly watched the surveillance along the way and never found Peng's figure again. The last time Peng appeared in the surveillance was on May 13th at 21:23. The police retrieved the records of her phone and found that it turned off at 21:31 that night, which means that Peng was likely to have an accident in just 8 minutes. So the police repeatedly watched the surveillance video that night and finally captured a detail. In the final appearance of Peng, there was a figure not far behind her. This person had been walking along the main road, while Peng was running on the sidewalk above. Later, the person seemed to consciously glance at Peng and also walked onto the sidewalk. And when Peng turned around the corner, this person also turned around and started walking back. Afterwards, Peng ran past this person, and they too disappeared into the darkness one after the other. This is the place where Peng and that person disappeared from surveillance. This area is the main road, and above it is a tree-lined path. Due to the obstruction of trees, it is difficult for people on the road to see clearly the situation on the path at night.
得将他找出来，那么他就算不是嫌疑人，他也应该是一个目击证人。
Through surveillance video tracking, the police finally found the person who was the owner of a local restaurant.
那边是往湿地公园去的那个路口那里， 我就准备打回转的，他也好跑出来了，我就心里感到很惊讶。我说呀，不是这个女的哪个这么大的胆子？不是，我看她走了之后，她跑出了个道之后。
This woman told the police that she and Peng entered the tree-lined path that night. But not long after, Peng ran ahead of her and finally too far apart to see her.
看不到她了，我以为她走出了道上了，跑到这头来。
Although the distance from Peng grew further, this woman walked out along the path and did not notice any abnormalities along the way. So, the police conducted a comprehensive investigation along this path and found no trace of physical evidence. Why did a living person disappear out of thin air? At this point, the local police got an important clue. The man said that he passed by the area where Peng had disappeared. At that time, he saw a mobile phone in the ditch, so he fished it out of the water. After the police retrieved the phone for identification, they confirmed that it belonged to Peng. The ditch where the phone was found was about 500 meters away from the last place where Peng disappeared. The phone was thrown into the ditch, but the person disappeared. The police speculated that Peng may have encountered an accident. In order to find more clues, they issued a reward notice to the society and organized a search team to conduct a search within a few kilometers around this path. However, the search lasted for 5 days, and it could be said that every corner had been searched. The police did not find any trace of Peng, nor did they find any useful clues.
就是不管是人还是尸体，他肯定不在现场，他肯定是离开了我们现场。
The police analyzed that if a person was to be controlled in a short period of time, the person must be taken away by transportation. It was likely that multiple people had committed the crime, with one person controlling the victim and the other person pulling the victim into a car and quickly driving away from the scene. For this reason, the police conducted a large-scale investigation of vehicles passing by the scene during the incident period. There were nearly 500 vehicles passing through the scene during the incident period. The police conducted an analysis of the driving trajectory of each vehicle. If a certain vehicle passed through the previous monitor to the next monitor and took longer than the normal time, the police would record the plate number of the vehicle as a key investigation. The police had found the drivers of these vehicles one by one and inquired about them, but still found nothing. The police are extremely distressed. They had experienced this feeling a few months ago. In September 2017, there was also a case of a middle-aged woman inexplicably missing while exercising at night in Meishan town. That case had no result yet. Is there a connection between these two cases? It was September 2017 in Heilong town, more than 10 kilometers away from Meishan town. The woman named Shao Jiagui was 48 years old at the time of the incident. On the evening of September 23, 2017, Shao went to the small square in the village to exercise after dinner as usual. At around 8 p.m., she left the small square and headed home. The village's surveillance captured the footage of her departure. But by around 10 o'clock in the evening, Shao was still not home and the phone had been turned off.
我爸爸就骑车子到处去找，找了之后都不得人的，然后12点过的时候就给我打过电话，我凌晨2点多就回家里面。
Her family kept searching until dawn the next day, but no trace of Shao was found. So they called the police. The police retrieved all the surveillance videos near the small square where Shao exercised and found that she had only appeared in this surveillance at the village entrance. From the small square to Shao's home, most of the road section was inhabited, and only a section of road 300 to 400 meters long with farmland on both sides and no households. The police suspected that Shao had an accident during this road.
没有发现任何异常的情况，说有什么地方有血迹啊，或者说有什么车祸的痕迹啊，有打斗啊，或者说那个留下的什么东西，什么都没有。
In order to search for Shao, the police expanded their search scope, not only conducting a comprehensive search of nearby farmland and villages, but also using police dogs to search for nearby mountains. However, there was no discovery for several consecutive days. A few months after Shao disappeared, Peng suddenly disappeared again while running at night. After conducting a comprehensive analysis of these two cases, the police believed that they shared many common characteristics. The cases were all aimed at women who go out to exercise at night, and there were almost no traces or physical evidence left at the scene of the crime. The police determined that they were likely the same suspects and decided to merge the case for investigation. The scene of Peng's case was close to the city center, with dense surveillance cameras. The police believed that the suspect couldn't escape the scene without any trace. So, the police carefully examined the surveillance videos of a larger area around the crime scene. Finally, a suspicious mobile light was discovered during surveillance on the night of the crime. This moving light was located at the far end of the monitoring probe, flickering and dimming, very faint, and you may miss it if you didn't pay attention. After repeated examination, the police believed that this may be the light of a motorcycle or electric vehicle. Through tracking at the next intersection, the police finally saw the bright spot of the movement, which was an electric vehicle.
嫌疑车辆呢，它在那个时段，就是案发的那个时段，它是逆向的。其二呢，它是在那个人行道上跑的，这个是非常反常。
Previously, the police believed that the suspects were at least two people using vehicles such as tricycles or cars. But now the suspect's tool became a motorcycle and only one suspect, which contradicted previous judgments. In order to further confirm the identity of this person, police conducted a reverse inspection of the trajectory of the motorcycle entering the scene.
这个，就这个白帽，戴个白色帽子，从他这样往旁边看的时候，应该嘴上应该是有个戴个口罩，对，他这个摩托车前面一个挡板，这个挡板。
This motorcycle first appeared near the crime scene, around 8 p.m. on May 13, 2018, when the driver disguised himself. At 21:04, this motorcycle entered the section where the incident occurred. More than 40 minutes later, at 21:46, he appeared on the path where Peng had disappeared, then left in reverse. The time when Peng disappeared from the monitor was 21:23, and the time when her phone was turned off was 21:31. That is to say, during the 8 minutes when Peng may have had an accident, this motorcycle happened to be on site. Besides, before entering the scene, there was nothing on the motorcycle pedal, but when he left the scene, there was an extra large bag on the pedal. The police continued to track the trajectory of the motorcycle and found that it had left the scene of the crime and was heading straight out of the city. This was a black and white electric car. There was a very large bag on its pedal, which should contain a large object. So the police speculated that what was inside the bag may be the victim. At 21:57, the suspect drove a motorcycle out of the town, and after leaving the town, he was driving in the direction of Hailong Town, where Shao disappeared. Based on the clues obtained, the police delineated the general characteristics of the suspect, who was between the ages of 45 and 60 and may be living alone. From the evidence of the suspect fleeing the scene, it could be seen that he was very familiar with Qingshen Town and was likely a native of Qingshen. Next, the police retrieved surveillance videos from the relevant areas and made significant discoveries. Through investigation, the police discovered the suspect's figure in multiple surveillance cameras. The surveillance video showed that the suspect went to downtown around 7 o'clock every day and left around 18 o'clock, with a very regular schedule, wearing blue pants all the time, like work uniform. Based on this, the police determined that the suspect was likely a worker. Through tracking, police found that the suspect disappeared from a local industrial park after getting into downtown, so he was likely to work at a factory there. The police immediately launched a secret investigation, and on June 22, 2018, they found the same motorcycle as the one shown in the surveillance video.
他一般早上几点钟上班
8点。
然后下班时间来。
下班时间，有一半的时间基本上就是6点钟准时下班，有半的时间可能就要加班到7点钟左右。
The police found that the owner of this motorcycle was Chen Zhongquan, 48 years old, from Hailong Town, the same place as where the first missing woman, Shao, was from. Chen's photo and the person shown in the surveillance video were completely consistent. Chen had a criminal record and was imprisoned for rape and intentional homicide years ago. He was not released until 2017. Chen had a marriage in his early years, but after being divorced and released from prison, he lived with his old mother. Various clues indicated that Chen had significant suspicion of committing the crime. The police made 2 plans to arrest Chen, from inside and outside. One team of police entered the factory to arrest, and the other team was responsible for peripheral interception. But the Team 1 police found Chen missing as soon as they entered the factory. There was a ditch outside the wall of the factory. Chen climbed out of the wall, crossed the ditch, and fled. However, Chen didn't run too far before he got caught by Police Team 2.
我们大概朝前面离他可能有20米左右，我们把车停下去，就过去准备进行盘问。他看到我们下面就开始跑到这儿的。
The police quickly rushed over and caught Chen.
你要跑什么？你回答我，有什么啊？你觉得应该跑的？你回答呀。
Questioned by the police, Chen finally admitted that he kidnapped and killed Shao and Peng.
这是车，假如你先带我来这地方是哪个地方？掩埋尸的地方。哪个掩埋？头都取了，掩埋，这把头都取了。然后你先我指一下具体地点在哪儿呢？什么？你还有呢？还有呢。
Chen told that after killing Shao and Peng, he buried them in this abandoned factory. The police found the bodies of 2 victims based on his identification. So why did Chen brutally deprive the lives of the 2 victims?
当时嘛，我被一些在微信高头耍女朋友嘛，说要买房子，我的计划想来绑架个人嘛，真的请我买一套房子。
Chen said that after his release from prison in 2017, he had a girlfriend who said that to get married, he had to buy a house in Qinggren town.
我觉得嘛，那老头应该是很有钱的嘛，就说在买着，他卖饲料啊，卖的比较，卖饲料开养猪场啊。
Chen was in the same town as the first victim, Shao. Knowing that Shao was wealthy, Chen planned to kidnap her to get some money. Through tracking, he decided to kidnap her on her way home from exercise. That night, on her way home, Chen choked her unconscious, wrapped her mouth with tape, tied her hands and feet, put her in a bag, and took her to the abandoned factory. Chen said that after controlling Shao, he asked for money, but was refused. In a fit of anger, he chose to brutally kill Shao. After Shao was killed, Chen lurked for some time. Later, when no one found out, he thought that the matter had passed and the idea of kidnapping came up again. His girlfriend lived near Peng's store. Chen once went to the store to buy milk and felt that her financial condition was good, so he made Peng his second target. After several days of tracking, on the evening of May 13, 2018, he choked Peng, who was running at night, out of consciousness on the tree-lined path without any streetlights, and then used his motorcycle to carry her to the abandoned factory. This time, he still failed to get any money. He brutally killed the victim again. However, what he didn't expect was that his absurd idea of killing someone and getting away was quickly shattered by the police.